He looked ashamed and disgusted and shocked as he told me, but he told me anyway. He said, turns out he was sleeping with one of my clients. Now, at that point in the conversation, I'll be honest, I was a little bit shocked too. A little bit appalled, but I could see the pattern fully. It made sense because this wasn't just some random person. This is one of his employees, someone that he had trusted to grow his business. He'd given his hard-earned cash to. And less than 1 month into employing this guy decided it was a good idea to bed one of the most profitable clients his business had. Just think about what that did to his business. I mean, I'm guessing you too have had team problems, but one like this, maybe. We'll see. Now, this client of mine, who we're going to call Dan for this podcast or for this video, because of this, has a bunch of mental blocks, bunch of mental things going on around hiring, managing, team generally, how he uses his time, how he's got to show up in his business. So he's scared that something like this is going to happen again, and he feels like he can't trust his team to do the right thing. So he micromanages. He's constantly there, constantly on top of his clients, not in the way that they were on top of their clients. But he hates doing this. He absolutely loathes doing it because, firstly, he feels like a bit of a dick when he treats his employees like children. He doesn't like the parent-child dynamic. He knows it's not right. And secondly, because he's still working just as many hours, just as hard as when he didn't have a team. If anything, he's just got more jobs to do in managing than he had originally. So he misses time that he could be spending with his daughter and his wife or just living a better life. But that's not why any of us started a business, right? We didn't start this to be tied down to a job with more hours that doesn't pay as well. Dan is desperate to use his freedom that his business built him, that he sacrificed a decade of his life to, but he's too fearful and too guilty to do that. And he wants to say, hey, I don't know, Jenny, go and clean the bogs whilst I pick up my daughter from school. But he can't. Well, he couldn't anyway, until I took him through the process of training clarity of mind, of seeing clearly, of understanding what's really happening on the inside, installing the kind of mental operating system that can actually build a business that you love. And a few days ago, I got this voice note from him. He was almost giddy. Yeah, he couldn't quite believe it. And he said he actually felt disorientated by the growth and the change, because it's basically saying how he'd just headed to the gym during the middle of the workday whilst his team does all the stuff that he used to do, and he was too embarrassed to do, like to leave before, which isn't just dilly-dallying about it. It wasn't just, hey, I'm going to use all this freedom. It was part of embedding the new standards that he's rising to. It was a part of becoming the kind of business owner that he knew he could be. And because of this, he's added an extra 12% to his bottom line in the 6 weeks that we've been working together. And I'm not going to take credit for this, but he wouldn't have got the opportunity to do it. He also added 5 kilos to his bench press PB too. That's what building a business is really about. It's generating freedom and choices and a better version of you. And next week, we're putting We've put in place the steps, there we go, to ensure that he's taking his daughter to school, something he hasn't done in 7 years. That's what building a business is really about. That's why you started this. I'll be honest, Dan was pretty doubtful about working with me on this mental game. But he'd tried all the business coaches, he'd tried to outsource, he'd tried hiring a team, and as you learned, that didn't work very well. But the better systems, the management tools, they never really worked. So he knew it had to be something other than a business problem. And it's amazing how many business problems aren't business problems. As one of my clients texted me last week, he said, it turns out all of my business problems were actually personal problems in disguise.